the Symmetra patch hit right before this tournament. I don't know why they did that, it's pretty weird, but I still feel like it's going way too fast because people haven't even figured out Sombra yet. Like, people haven't really managed to have time to experience with Sombra. And now with Symmetra also, like, people don't have time to experience with that as well. I don't know, like, we have only played one game here at MLG yet, so one might pull out a Symmetra or maybe a Sombra or something that I haven't seen yet, but I feel like it's going a bit too fast and they're timing it right before tournaments often, so I feel like they can slow it down a little bit at least. And make like bigger patches slower or something like that.
I think the pace is fine. Like, I understand that they can't patch like every week or 2 weeks. It's like way too much effort for them and time. I mean, I think like they could do like small incremental patches. Like, for example, Anna, she's like untouched for like 3 months already. And I think she's really, not destroying the game, but she makes the game really unfun. So I think like there could be like more smaller patches on certain things like Anna. And the timings are actually quite bad because like it hasn't been happened twice already that they patch like right before a LAN tournament. So I think that's not good for the players because it's like they don't know what to do like on the LAN itself because they've been practicing for like, so let's say the previous meta was like Reaper, Anna, or like heavy tank. And then when you patch like 1 day before a LAN, the whole meta can change. So it's going to be really random as well on the LAN, which is not good for competition, I think.
I feel like the patches are being pushed out kind of fast, but I feel like it could be okay if we had a tournament realm that we could play on. So it could go live, and a part of the testing of the actual patch could be played on live servers and ranked and stuff, while the tournaments are still being played on the older patch where everyone has practice. Because for this tournament, for example, it's just like we didn't have that much practice with Symmetra, and we just played Symmetra Torb, and like we make it work pretty well because we thought people aren't going to be confident in how to break this comp. They don't have that much scrim experience, or especially not tournament experience playing versus this specific comp. So we can abuse that. We are, like the patch is new and we are pretty flexible as a team and we can use that to our advantage, but I feel like we shouldn't be able to play on this like very new patch for this big tournament, and I would rather play on the old patch with the tournament realm.
I mean, players are never going to enjoy patches right before major tournaments, it's to be expected, but I think players, they don't necessarily get too upset if the patches aren't necessarily super significant to the overall meta. So I mean, it just depends on what the patch content is. If it's like a massive balance patch, they probably don't want it in the same week as of like a major tournament. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure players, for the most part, kind of understand like they're not the whole game, right? They're going to produce these patches on their own schedule, and that's kind of to be expected. But there's like a certain compromise where it's just like capable of just like, please don't release a patch like the same day as like a major tournament. And I think for the most part, they handle that pretty well.
I think the best way to like relate it is if you look at Dota 2. For instance, so like they have a set patch and they have a period in which that patch is going to be played. As much as they don't know like how long it's going to be played for, it's essentially they play one patch for an extended period of time, and then after like a major event, they'll come out and they'll do a big patch change, and it'll essentially change the entire game. I think that's more what I prefer in the game because, you know, even like this small Symmetra change, it didn't change anything, but it does like throw this like spanner into the works of the entire game. So you never know like what's going to happen. Like you're seeing some people play Symmetra now. So I hope that they make them less frequent, but more impactful in the future.
For the most part, the patch speed is okay. I'd like to see some like this recent patch that just came out, I think is pretty good because there's like a lot of smaller tweaks. Like obviously there was a Symmetra rework, which was pretty big, but other than that, there was no other major stuff. And I kind of like how that, like some of the previous patches, they've had like big changes on like 4 or 5 heroes at once, and that's where it can be kind of rough. And I'd also wish that Blizzard would like kind of work with event organizers and try and wait till like after a tournament to do a patch like this. But for the most part, I think it's been pretty good, and I think with every patch it is getting better. I think there's been a couple patches where there's been some stuff that I've disagreed with, but if you look back like from release to where the game is now overall, I'd say the balance is a lot better. They're always adding new maps and that sort of stuff, which is pretty cool. So I think for the most part, it's been pretty good.